The private sector questions the benefits of the country's relationship with CARICOM. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, November 14th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The business community in Guyana is calling for a review of the country's relationship with the 15-member regional bloc CARICOM. Senior Vice President of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Timothy Tucker, told a news conference that Guyana, where the CARICOM Secretary is headquartered, has been shortchanged in trade with its regional neighbors. The GCCI is unhappy with inroads by Trinidad and Tobago to capitalize on the local market as Guyana prepares to reap significant gains from oil and gas. More in this report from HGP Nightly News.
The Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GCCI, is questioning the relevance of the Caribbean community CARICOM and its usefulness to Guyana. Through its Senior Vice President, Timothy Tucker, it is being alleged that over the years, CARICOM has been used against Guyana, particularly in the area of trade.
Throughout the history of CARICOM, we've had situations where we are limited to what we can export to the Caribbean. Even to Trinidad. They have put non-tariff barriers on honey. They just released the ones, I think it's on pepper and pineapple.
Tucker referenced the period in Guyana's history when the export of coconut products to Barbados was shut down by that island. Then there was the case of suspected hepatitis, which resulted in further actions being taken against Guyana, all under the watchful eyes of CARICOM.
And then suddenly a ban on all poultry products coming from Guyana. Trinidad pays that. When we would have, Guyana would have been approved to export poultry products throughout the Caribbean. We had even Jamaica. They were able to use one of their old antiquated laws talking about the origin of water that is being fed to chicken.
With the amount of barriers and hurdles that the Guyanese business community has to overcome to trade on a fair level in the Caribbean, it leaves much to be desired, the GCCI executive posited.
Still in Guyana, the Director General in the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, on Thursday announced that he is no longer a citizen of the United States. Harmon was among 4 government ministers who were forced to resign from Parliament and the Cabinet after the court reaffirmed that it was illegal for the holder of dual citizenship to serve in the Guyana Parliament. The Constitution has always been clear on the issue, but it was one that was ignored by all the political parties in Parliament as both sides had dual citizens serving as members of the House. With Harmon relinquishing his U.S. citizenship, the way is now clear for him to be a candidate on the coalition's list for the March 2020 elections. He served as Minister of State before he was forced to resign from the position after the court's ruling. On Thursday, during a press conference, Harmon disclosed that he had applied to relinquish his U.S. citizenship and was informed in early October that the application had been approved.
I could say to you now that I have a response from the United States, which came on the 8th of October, indicating to me that with effect from the 31st of July 2019, that my application was approved, and therefore my U.S. citizenship has now gone through the window, and therefore I am now just dealing with the Guyanese citizenship. So with respect from the 31st of July, that is the situation. Yes? GT to the bone. Yeah, so now, like anybody else, if I want to travel, I have to apply for a visa and so on and so forth.
Harmon is the second former Minister of Government to relinquish foreign citizenship. A few months ago, former Foreign Affairs Minister Carl Greenwich formally renounced his British citizenship. He has also indicated his readiness to serve as a candidate for the coalition at the upcoming elections. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is fully supporting legislative amendments that would deny bail for 120 days to anyone found trafficking firearms or in possession of prohibited weapons. At a weekly press conference on Wednesday, the TTPS's Director of Legal Services, Christian Chandler, said the Bail Amendment No. 2 bill is necessary to address illegal possession of high-powered weapons like AR-15 assault rifles, grenades, and rocket launchers.
We are advocating for the amendment of the legislation. And let me say from the outset that there is, in fact, a war on crime. Our society is dynamic and ever-changing. And as such, because it is so amorphous, our laws have to change to reflect the circumstances within our society.
In the proposed amendment, bail will be denied for 120 days to anyone found in possession of illegal weapons.
Because some may say, well, it is a form of punishment to have someone incarcerated for a period of 120 days, and they have not been found guilty of an offense as yet. But we must look at what is the purpose. The purpose is to act as a deterrent for the recidivists, those who would commit these offenses and come back and commit the same offenses again.
Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith said on a recent trip to the International Association's Chiefs of Police, the chiefs could not understand why this country would try to justify the bail denial.
They just could not believe that a country could try to justify someone held with an assault rifle, something that can kill hundreds of persons, that we are trying to justify the right of a criminal over the rights of law-abiding citizens to live. The fact of the matter is that these weapons as well, this is also going to cause havoc to my police officers, because police officers, they put their lives on the line. They go out there and they are being fired upon by individuals with the type of weaponry that is there for a war.
And that report from Mahalia Joseph Wharton of TTT News. There is an increasing problem of gender-based violence in the Caribbean. That's according to the Caribbean Director of the United Nations Population Fund, Alison Drayton, who says gender-based violence has harmful and lasting consequences for victims, families, communities, and nations. She says the issue is worrying in 3 CARICOM countries in particular.
We have a growing problem on GBV, and in Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad, the realization of that is starting to change, I think, perceptions of the need to look at the region in a different way. But it's an uphill battle.
Drayton was speaking on the sidelines of the Nairobi Summit on ICPD 25 underway in Nairobi, Kenya. Gender-based violence is one of the 5 themes of the summit, which has been convened to mobilize the political will and financial commitments urgently needed to finally and fully implement the ICPD program of action. These commitments center around achieving zero unmet need for family planning information and services, zero preventable maternal deaths, and zero sexual and gender-based violence and harmful practices against women and girls. Over 11,500 delegates from 150 countries are gathered at the Kenyatta International Convention Center for the summit. Still to come in Caribbean, Newsline churches in St. Vincent and the Grenadines march against a challenge to the island's anti-buggery laws. The details after this. Stay with us.
After an emergency, you can help yourself and others by looking, listening, and linking.
Looking because you want to see if the person has some signs that is in distressing. Looking for the symptoms, how best you can support the person. And then listening, because listening is very important. Listening with your ears, listening with your eyes. If you do that well, then you'll be able to link them to the appropriate resources.
Be ready, look, listen, and link.
Dixon, and you're watching Finding Fit, the show I pair up one client with 2 trainers. Trainer number 1.
Oh my gosh.
It's about fitness, comedy.
I can do this all day,
drama.
In future, we cannot be late.
Inspirational stories, and so much more. You are gonna love it. You can catch Finding Fit prime time this fall on CaribVision.
CaribVision is now included in the OneSpot Media subscription package. It's simple. Search for onespotmedia.com, then log in, scroll over to the Live TV and Radio tab, and select CVTV from the drop-down menu, and watch the latest in Caribbean culture, news, and sports. It's that simple. CaribVision is now on OneSpot Media. Subscribe today.
onespotmedia.com.
We continue in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where the Christian Coalition on Thursday marched through the streets against a challenge to the anti-buggery laws on the island. Two gay Vincentians, Sean McLeish, who is based in the United States, and Javin Johnson, who successfully claimed asylum in the United Kingdom back in 2017, have brought legal challenges to the island's buggery laws. The men are arguing that the laws, leftovers from British colonial rule, are discriminatory, inhumane, and against the basic tenets of the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that protect the rights and freedoms of every citizen, and that they were removed from the UK some time ago. The churches in the country are against the move, and 10 of them have asked to join the Attorney General in responding to the challenge to these laws. The court will rule on their application on November 20th. Now, one of the claimants in the legal challenge, McLeish, described the march as unfortunate. He said the action by the churches is an anti-equality protest march, which is an affront to the realization of social inclusion for all citizens, regardless of sexual orientation. Small businesses in Jamaica are calling for a delay in the implementation of the ban on the importation of styrofoam products, but environmentalists are against any extension of the ban, which is set to take effect on January 1, 2020. We get the details in this TVJ News report.
On January 1 this year, a ban on single-use plastic bags was implemented. There was also clear indication that 1 year later, a ban on styrofoam would also be implemented. But with just over a month to go, President of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, Hugh Johnson, says while they agree with banning non-biodegradable materials for environmental reasons, there are grave concerns for association members. These include unsuitable substitutes, as heat penetration causes danger to customers, and require excessive contact for folding.
One of the other grave concerns is the cost, because all the alternate materials that we have been introduced to is 3-4 times the cost of the present one. So we believe that some more time is needed to work out all those kinks so that, and I wouldn't see 12 months as being detrimental.
Vice President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Mariam Robinson, shares that view.
There should be a very clear high-level plan as to how we're going to ensure we create alternatives, substitutes for specifically the users. We believe that a ban without a plan on how to phase in and how to create the substitutes and how to ensure the users, of which 90% of users are small micro enterprises, I think will not achieve the full potential of the ban.
However, environmentalists disagree. Speaking on RJ's Beyond the Headline recently, CEO of the Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, Susan Stanley, insisted that the January 1, 2020 implementation date is adequate time.
They knew this was coming from 2016. Senator Samuda announced his intention to put forward this motion in the Senate in 2016. It happened in 2016. There was a 3-year period of public consultation. Local manufacturers had an additional year to prepare themselves and transition away from the material. So, they have had time.
We asked both the Small Business Association president and the PSOJ vice president about the years of preparation time given as suggested by the JET CEO. They explained that while larger organizations were able to transition to paper and cardboard containers, it's small businesses which are struggling.
Former Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Brian Winter, wants the country to look at the bigger picture as concerns linger over the decline of the island's dollar. The Bank of Jamaica was forced to intervene in the last 2 days to calm fears over the foreign exchange market. It sold a total of $70 million to authorized dealers and cambios. The move followed weeks of concerns over the local currency losing value to the US dollar.
I urge people to not necessarily look at the voices that are loudest, but try to step back a little bit and look at it as objectively as possible. That can be difficult, and therefore, again, investment advisors, foreign exchange advisors, the experts, private sector experts, we need to talk to them more and listen to what they're saying and weigh. And I think we'll find that Jamaica can manage those things just as well as a Jamaican businessman in Canada can manage the Canadian-US dollar exchange rate, which is just as big a deal there as it is here.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies begin the 3-match T20 International Series against Afghanistan with a win. Stay with us. Sport is next.
'Cause you are pure sunshine, baby. God. When you walk, you are hot up the place, God. When you walk, you are hot up the place, God. 'Cause you are pure sunshine, darling. When you walk, you are hot up the place, God. Shine bright and hot up the place, God. You make my love see grow. Hold me tight and you never let go. Your hands up and you're not go below. You keep me warm when the weather gets cold.
Rage in the Cage Reloaded business now. It's time. The first artist going up this week is a newcomer. Yeah, he's here to challenge the big man that's running things right now. Let's have the man, Dan Tuffy.
Best when you want to come and test, be careful how you step. Bringing respect, you getting left when you step, man. Toughest time. Like Curry, a Guyanese Curry. Mama said, you know, body does body, now your dream like Freddie.
Let's take a trip to the markets on Liberty Avenue in Queens, New York.
Sea-Trek was one of the first outfitters in Baja 35 years ago. We started running trips down there in the mid-'80s, early to mid-'80s. At that time, these were kayak expeditions, sort of old school trips where you loaded everything in the boat and off you went. Exploring coastlines, no permits, no rules, no regulations. And over time, we refined the trips.
A half-century by opening batsman Evan Lewis gave West Indies their first victory by 30 runs in the first game of the 3-match T20 International Series against Afghanistan. Sent in at the Ikana Cricket Stadium in Lucknow, India, the Windies posted 164 for 5 with Lewis's knock of 68 off 41 deliveries. Captain Karen Pollard also contributed with the bat with 32 off 22 deliveries, while middle-order batsman Shimron Hetmaya and Dinesh Ramdin chipped in with 20 runs each. Now, no one else produced double digits as opener Brandon King was dismissed on 4 and Sherfin Rutherford only managed 9 runs, while Fabian Allin remained unbeaten on 5. Pacer Gulbadin Naib produced figures of 2, 4, 24 for Afghanistan. Now, the Afghans were decimated by West Indies' strong bowling attack in their reply. Fabian Allin picked up 3 wickets, while the captain and Hayden Walsh Jr. grabbed 2 wickets each as the home side finished on 134 for 9 off 20 overs. Najbullah Zadran top-scored with 27, while Asghar Afghan chipped in with 25 runs. Still in cricket, Justin Graves struck his second half-century of the regional Super 50 Cup as West Indies' emerging players stunned previously unbeaten hosts Trinidad and Tobago Red Force by 10 runs late Wednesday to storm to the top of Group B in what was an exciting day-night contest at the Queen's Park Oval. Belgian players racked up 243 all out of their 50 overs, with Graves striking 80 of 88 deliveries and opener Kimani Milius, captain Yannick Correa scoring 34 and wicketkeeper Joshua Da Silva scoring 34 as well, all playing supporting roles. Now Red Force then found themselves tottering early in the runs chase, losing both openers cheaply to be 24 for 2 in the 9th over. Bravo, who faced 73 deliveries and struck 5 fours, anchored 2 critical stands when he put on 59 for the 3rd wicket with Hope and further 48 for the 5th wicket with Otley. Now Otley, who belted 2 fours and 4 sixes of 79 balls, then led a last-ditch effort for Red Force, posting 50 for the 8th wicket with Stephen Katwaru and 37 for the 9th wicket with Anderson Phillip before following in the final over. Now in the other game, Windward Islands Volcanoes finally broke their winless streak when they brushed aside United States by 43 runs. Without a victory in 2 previous outings, the tournament Volcanoes kick-started their campaign when they got up to 225 for 9 of their 50 overs and then dismissed United States for 182 in the 46th over. Now at the center of their success was leg-spinning all-rounder Kieran Kotoy, who top-scored with a runner ball unbeaten 43 and then returned to take 5 for 37 in an outstanding performance. And Kyle Mayer's maiden list A100 proved the difference as Barbados Pride halted Leeward Islands Hurricanes' unbeaten streak by handing the Group A hosts a 32-run defeat on Wednesday evening, now opting to bat first at Warner Park. Pride finished on 255 all out of their 50 overs, with the left-hander stroking 113 of 110 balls. Now in reply, Devon Thomas sustained his great form with exactly 50 of 85 deliveries, but other than Terrence Ward's 41 at number 7 and opener Kieran Powell's 30, Hurricanes failed to mount a coherent run chase and were dismissed for 223 in the 48th over. They were undermined by left-arm spinner Joshua Bishop off spinner Ashley Nurse, who finished with 3 wickets apiece. Switching sports now, Jamaican athletes are outraged about a decision by the IAAF to remove some track and field events from its Diamond League competitions. Last week, the World Athletics body removed the 200-meter race, the 3,000-meter steeplechase, and the discus throw, and the triple jump, that is, in an attempt to cut the length of the broadcast for the league. But the decision received some backlash from some athletes who compete in the tournament. TVJ's Jordan Fort reports.
Two of Jamaica's most recent Diamond Trophy winners have seen their events cut from the program. Frederick Dakers, the World Championships silver medalist from Doha, says the decision to exclude his pet event, the discus throw, came as a surprise, especially because of how high the level of performances have risen over the last 2 seasons.
The discus was actually the hottest field in history because I think 5th or 6th place to 66. Normally, 65 could guarantee a bronze medal. 66 was, I think, 6th. So in terms of a competitive field, this was really hard.
Another World Championships silver medalist, Shanika Ricketts, has also seen her pet event, the triple jump, cut from the program. The 27-year-old says the lack of television coverage has helped stifle the event. She says the triple jump final flew under the radar at last season's Diamond League because of how it was broadcast.
When the coverage started, basically they did a recap, so persons weren't able to see the competition. No one knew how exciting it was and that it was a ding-dong battle until the end. So I think what they can do is to be fair in the way in which they show each event.
President of the MVP Track and Field Club, Bruce James, says his athletes have also expressed concerns.
Yeah, a number of my athletes who do focus on the sprints are a little concerned about it because they would love to have the option to do either the 100 or the 200 or both.
But perhaps the athletes who will be most affected by the decision are the ones who haven't yet made the breakthrough. Basil Bingham was a standout at the junior level but hasn't yet made his Diamond League debut.
As an athlete from high school coming up, the standard for you is, aside from the World Championships and Olympics, is the Diamond League. And the young athletes now, they've seen people before doing it. Frederick is doing it. Travis and I have yet to make our Diamond League debut. So this was something we were really working towards and looking towards, because that's a standard of earning. It also is the entertainment on the circuit.
And finally, the Guyana Football Association and the Tourism Authority have signed a memorandum of understanding to promote sport tourism in the country. More in this Newsroom Guyana report.
Signing of the MOU was done by President of the Guyana Football Federation, Wayne Ford, and Head of the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana, Mitra Ramkumar, at Roraima Duke Lodge in Kingston. The signing was witnessed by Kieran Williams of the Guyana Football Federation and Trainer Butts of the tourism body. The intention of the alliance are to 1. Promotion and marketing by increasing visibility of the destination and football to international partners. 2. Research and information sharing by improving readiness and promotional efforts of sports tourism events. 3. Product development by developing initiatives that promote events such as beach football and futsal competitions at locations across the country. And 4. Sustainability of ventures by devising strategies that support the sustainability of the organizations through the hosting of activities.
Sports tourism is one of the fastest growing sectors in tourism, and more tourists are interested in sport activities during their trips, whether sport was the main purpose of their visit. Sports tourism of various kinds and sizes attract tourists as participants and spectators to destinations worldwide, and destinations do their best to add local flavor to those activities and distinguish themselves and provide authentic local experiences. Mega sport events such as the Olympics and World Cups can be catalysts for tourism development if successfully leveraged in terms of destination branding, infrastructural development, and other economic and social benefits.
We have to remind ourselves often that football is an entertainment product, and like any product, marketing of that product is critical. The partnership that we're building with the Tourism Authority would see the Tourism Authority bringing its weight, its platform, its resources, its network, and every other tool that it has to its disposal to leverage, promote, and advertise the tournaments and competitions and international events of the Federation. One of the first such activities that we will engage in the spirit of the MOU would be the Super 16 tournament that is going to be launched in a matter of days.
And that's for sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Again, the major developments of this day: the business community in Guyana calls for a review of the country's relationship with CARICOM. And in sport, West Indies begin the 3-match T20 international series against Afghanistan with a 30-run victory. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news on sports round the clock, subscribe to CaribVision.com. For more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.